Hi everyone, welcome back to the Audit and Attestation class. In this class, we'll be covering specific procedure to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. We'll be covering audit data analytics, right? So data analytics, I'm sure it's a buzzword, you all might have heard of it. So we'll be covering all the 5-step approach in application of audit data analytics, and this is a part 1. There is part 2 and part 3 as well, which is just coming after this video.
So if you see in chapter 4, we have covered sufficiency and appropriateness of evidence. We have covered journal procedure to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence. We have covered journal audit procedure and sampling technique in detail. Right. Yesterday we started 4.3, which is specific procedure to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. In that we covered 4.3.1, which is analytical procedure, which is all traditional analytical procedure. Now today we'll be covering audit data analytics, like majorly data analytics, how you can use in audit and what benefit you can attain out of using data analytics in your audit, right? And then if time allows, we will finish out the small topic, which is external confirmation. So by this, you'll be done with like almost 50% of the chapter 4. Right. So I'll quickly scroll you through what all things we have done. Sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. We discuss about audit evidence definition, sufficiency definitions, then journal procedure, inquiry, inspection, observation, roll forward, roll back, re-performance, recalculation, confirmation, right? Ouch, what happened? Yeah. And then we discuss about additional procedure for integrated audit, test of control, frequency of control, how to select the samples for test of controls, requirement for the non-issuer, requirement for the issuer for non-audit engagement. Then we did some practice question. After that, we jumped into the sampling technique, in which we studied statistical sampling and non-statistical sampling, benefit of it. And then in that we have studied attribute sampling and variable sampling. After that, we discuss about certain example of statistical sampling technique, which include like random, probability, proportional to size. Then we discuss next one is stratified sampling, and then lastly I think discovery sampling, which we have discussed. Then we discuss more in detail about sampling risk and non-sampling risk, which is part of detection risk in overall audit risk. Here we covered like risk of incorrect acceptance or risk of incorrect rejection, and then we also discussed risk of risk of assessing the control risk too high or control risk too low, right? After that, we did like sampling in substantive testing detail, what all things you need to keep in mind. Then we discuss like factor which influence number of samples, either for test of control or for test of details, right? Then we discuss about substantive procedure. We discuss about this awesome table which reflect like how risk in the respective area may impact the overall number of sample size for test of details, right? Then we did some practical question. After that, we jumped into analytical procedure. So this analytical procedure and data analytics procedure are some or the other ways are interrelated or similar. Here we do all the things manually, but in the data analytics, almost everything will come from the system directly. So it saves a lot of time and energy, and it ensures more completeness and accuracy of the data if you use the tools and which you have validated appropriately the tool before using it, right? So in the data analytics also, we will be studying variance analysis. So here, like, what is variance analysis, current year compared to previous year, any change, and then you need to put the respective remarks to it, right? Same way for the budget versus actual also, which we have discussed yesterday. So here, like in one column, you put the budget, and second column, you put the actual, and you'll see like how much variance from budget to actuals are. Right. And then after we discuss on month analysis, this analysis is also part of like data analytics. So which is like just easily can extract from the data analytics tool by just clicking the single button, right? And then we discuss about disaggregated analysis, which we have studied earlier in the sales analytical procedure, right? After that, we discuss correlation analysis. This you can do manually and through the system, through the data analytics. It can be easily done in perfect manner, to be very honest with you. Then estimates versus actual ratio analysis. All these things can be easily done through the data analytics as well, right? So now jumping into audit data analytics, right? So this is, like someone can argue, if we can do all these analysis manually, then why we need to use data analytics, right? So data analytics actually bring more efficiency and economic in the engagement, because in all those earlier traditional way of doing the analysis, it's not like that before data analytics we were not doing analytics, right? We were using analytics for the audit procedure, and that's also you can say provide a lot of insight. But by using data analytics tools and technique, it has made the data analytics, or it has made the analytics more effective and efficient, and it has added a couple of more, you can say, analytics which is more visual presentation, which was like hard by using like all those manual analytics, right? So if someone asks you why I should use data analytics, right, why not traditional? So it depends on, like, for individual engagement to engagement, you need to do cost benefit analysis. If you feel like the benefits of using data analytics is more than the cost, you should go for it, right? But where you feel it's very small engagement, it does not have too much data, it does not have too much structured data, or it does not have too much, you can say, variance, or it does not seems to be very risk profile engagement, then probably you can skip the data analytics part. But otherwise, for almost all the big companies, right, which has big data, to be very honest with you, for them it is being more effective and most efficient approach of doing the analytical procedure and performing the audit based on the data analytics procedure, right? So if you see here in the first paragraph, we have mentioned the evolution of information technology and big data. Like I said, so wherever the company have big data, right, this data analytics tools has made the auditor life so easy, because it covers the entire population of that big data, and it helps you analyze in the different way, in different forms, different charts, graph, visual presentation, to make it so easy to understand for the auditor, and it gives more deep insight to the auditor about the respective subjects, respective account balance, respective transaction, and it gives the flexibility to drill down to the respective journal entry level up to, right? So that if they want to test something, they can identify the respective symbol based on the risk as well, right? If you see the first paragraph over here, the evolution of information technology and big data have changed the way audit is performed, right? Increase in the volume of data of the entities to audit has made it inevitable for the auditor to use data analytics tools and techniques. It ensures the objective of the audit is achieved in more effective and efficient manner. Because of such a big data, it's hard for anyone to manually interpret the entire data, right? That's the reason these data analytics tools and techniques are nowadays inevitable if you're planning to audit for such a big company who have like big data, right? So data analytics tools and techniques include, spreadsheet. I'm sure Excel sheet every one of you are using. Are you guys using Excel sheets?
Yes,
Yes, no, right? Okay, so data analytics software, have you guys heard about them? Data analytics software?
yes, sir.
Which one?
If I'm not wrong, it is Jira and Alteryx, whatever they use. I mean, I've
Yeah,
heard
or
about it.
yeah, Alteryx. Yeah, that's tool. Have you heard about Microsoft Power BI?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Have you
Power
heard
BI,
about Tableau?
W, yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Right. So have you heard about iAuditor?
Mm,
Right.
No, sir.
So not so. If you see below, there are certain example of data analytics tools. So like Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, DataPine, iAuditor, Kaigan Auditor, NetWireX Auditor, Auditor Board. So these are certain, you can say, tools which like auditor can use, or some of these tools like management can also use, like Microsoft Power BI. So management nowadays using this Microsoft Power BI a lot. Tableau also, it's being very much famous and very popular tool for the data analytics purpose, right? So data visualization software, like these all are data analytics software as well as data visualization software. So what is data visualization? Anyone can make a guess? What is a data visualization? Any idea or any guess?
So
It's the kind of a
graphical
badge.
dashboards basically.
Sorry?
Dashboards which we prepare to present the data.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaspreet, you are also saying something?
I was saying that different techniques used to prepare a story around the data. I mean, as to what that data represents, what all. I mean, entire storytelling happens through data, and with the help of charts and graphs and everything presented on one single sheet. That's
Right,
how it. Yeah.
right. Absolutely true. So, for example, can you see my screen? You know, like, yeah. So, for example, if you go to the chart over here, so you'll see like lots of categories of charts available. Maybe if you like this all, like the line chart, pie chart, bar diagrams, right? Have you heard about them? Have you seen any of them? Or
Yes, sir.
maybe like,
Yes, sir, yes.
for example, if we open up a new Excel sheet, where is my Excel? One second. If you open up an Excel sheet in your laptop, and then if you go to, so if you go to insert, so here you will see like there are different type of charts available. Right. For example, we need to have some data. Okay. So maybe like this kind of chart, 2D chart, 3D chart, bar diagram, these all called bar diagram. So right, in visualization, you can see like these kind of charts, right? And if you see like this is called tree map or sunburst. So this kind of charts also you can get, right? And if you see like this one is like waterfall, these all kind of charts, right? This is like a pie chart. So different kind of pies you can create. So this is like called scatter chart. So where like different data is being defined in different balls or dots, right? And if you see like this one, it's more of combo of line chart and bar diagram. So these kind of, and maybe like 3D maps if you want to open, right? Pivot chart, maps also. So these all kind of, you can say, visual presentation. Like for example, this, let's look at this. So here, like you can scroll and you can see like where all your company have presence, where all you are selling like respective datas. And can you see my screen?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Right? Can you see this earth? Can you see the
Yes, sir.
earth? Right?
Yes, sir.
So this kind of visual presentation, are called like visual presentation. So you can take a tour for the entire earth. Right, just kidding. Right. So these kind of, you can say, visual presentations are called data visualization. One second, let me go back to Word file. So these all are called data visualization tools. Make sense? Next is data mining software. Have you heard about them? Data mining software. Have you heard about cloud computing tools? I think we studied that in BEC. Yes, no? कुछ तो बोलना.
सर क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में तो लाइक वन ड्राइव हो गया
हाँ.
एंड गूगल ड्राइव काफी फेमस भी चल रहा है.
Yeah, so these like these OneDrive, Google Drive, G Suites, or you can say Zoho, or maybe you can say this box.com, right? So these all companies are providing like both kind of services, cloud computing services, data mining services, as well as they provide storage services, right? So data mining software are basically those software in which you can store the big data, and as and when it is being needed, you can extract those data in the required format for the analysis purpose. That is called data mining software. Then data transformation and cleaning software. So have any of you have any experience of using data analytics in your organization? No one have yet?
Yes, I've worked like.
Yes, sir. Worked on it.
So what exactly we do? First, we extract the data from system, like whether it is SAP, ERP, Oracle, NetSuite, like any kind of accounting software. First, we extract the data. The second process is cleaning the data, right? You might have heard about this terminology before, cleaning up the data so that we can use the data more effectively in our data analytics software. So for that also there are certain software which transform, that extract the data, right? So data which they extract from system might be in HTML format, might be in node format, might be in different format, right? So those data is being required to transform in the respective like tabular format or Excel format, right? And then they are also required to have certain cleaning up activity. So for that, there are certain ready-made software and tools available in the market. So that is called data transformation and cleaning software. Then have you heard about robotic process automation software, RPA?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the future, right, for the audit and finance profession. So what's your understanding about RPAs?
Sir, any redundant activities or let's say any, I would say straight line straight activity, you can create robots wherein, the bots can perform those activities and you don't have to, you just have to run it or it will be done automatically.
Yeah. For example?
So let's say a bank reconciliation or AR reconciliation or sending out confirmations, you can just create a bot who can do that for you.
Yeah, absolutely true. So nowadays, I know some of you have seen in Big Four company, the company have started implementing RPAs, but some of you might not have experience. So robotic process solution in audit, like in audit, we do like a lot of audit procedure, which we have discussed above as well. Like one of them is confirmation procedure, like confirmation to the bank, confirmation to the lenders, confirmation to the customers, confirmation to the suppliers, confirmation to the lawyer, right? In that case of scenario, this is a standard process. You just need to put the name, detail, and address of the respective person and your respective template. So bot can do this work easily, right? It does not require too much manual intervention, does not require too much investment of time, energy of human being. So that can be easily transformed into a robotic process solution, right? When we perform the audit, we review a lot of huge big agreements, contract, right? That can be a supplier contract, that can be a vendor contract, that can be a customer contract, that can be a contract with lender, that can be a contract for lease, right? So we can train the bots to read and scan that agreement and extract the relevant terms and put it into a standard template format for easy to analyze for the auditor, right? Back in 2018, like when we were implementing this ASC 606, right? Revenue recognition, for which is a new standard in the accounting. So at that point of time, like in audit, at that point of time, it was not permissible to use bot. But in our consulting division of the Big Four firm, they have started using bot for the consulting services. So that that helps and bring more efficiency into their overall operation of consulting. Why like bots are still not approved for the audit services? Because you cannot make bot liables, right? So here like auditor is being liable if anything went wrong. But if the things is being done by the bot, then who will be the ultimate responsible person? So that still battle is going on among like audit firms and the regulators. Hopefully in a year or 2 year we will win that battle, because this RPAs are bringing a lot of efficiency in the overall operation of accounting as well as in audit profile. So if you can imagine like 100 page, 200 page, 400 page agreement, if you need to read and make an extraction of that, how much time does it take? Whereas bot can easily do 100 pages scan through in just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, at the max 5 minutes.
So if I may share an example of RPA,
Yeah.
actually, we recently developed a bot that kind of helps us in performing for any low risk process. It will help us in performing the walkthrough.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has preset of questions that you can share with the process owners. They will go through it. They will answer as per their convenience. The time taken is almost 10 to 15 minutes. That's it, because there are only, let's say, 100 objective questions.
Yeah.
Right? They just have to select yes, no, and put the name and all. And then it will also transform into a process narrative as well as a flowchart. Like the initial draft would be out there. So wherein, if we are taking manually 4 to 6 hours or 8 hours in completing that activity, and then, a couple of meetings, all of that is just done in like, let's say 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Very nice example, Kush. Same, like you might have seen on many website chatbot, right? What they do, they are taking information from you, like as in when you are responding, and putting in a respective standard format, right? Those are also like bots. Simplest example, if I say chatbot, have you guys seen in many websites?
Yes,
right? So what they do, they take the information from the client and put in a respective format which is required by the management to analyze the respective matter, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So these all are ADS tools and technologies, and there are many more as well. So these are certain examples, but there could be more as well. And if you see, like, you can go back and do the Google out. If you want to know more about it, like Microsoft Power BI, this is like really an awesome tool. I highly recommend. If you have not done or any data analytics, must go and take their, you can say, free trial and try to explore the different functionality they have in MS Power BI. This is really a powerful tool, and the same way like Tableau as well. So Tableau and Microsoft Power BI are like very worldwide renowned tool for the data analytics and data visualization. In addition to that, you can take a look at DataPine, iAuditor, Kaigan Auditor, NetWireX Auditor, Auditor Boot. So these are certain tools which are being available in the market. Not only like, big consulting firm are using it, but like mid-size and small CPA firm can also use it. So use of ADS. So far we understood like the data analytics tools and techniques and why the data analytics is being important for an audit purpose. Now let's jump into usage of data analytics in an audit. ADA can be used in almost all areas, and it can use to perform first the risk management at the planning stage, right? If you remember in the analytical procedure also, we have discussed at the planning stage, we'll be performing variance analysis or analytical procedure, right? Do you remember from the last class? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
At what stage we use analytics? Don't get into data analytics, but generally at what all stage we use analytical procedures?
So this should also be done throughout the audit, like planning, execution, as well as like conclusion stage.
Planning, execution, and conclusion. So why do we use analytical in the planning stage?
So to get an overall understanding and define the nature, timing, and extent.
And majorly for the risk assessment process.
Risk assessment.
Right. Same way you can use the data analytics as well at the planning stage, and it will help you in doing the better risk assessment, right? You can use the data analytics for test of control, substantive procedure, and then at overall conclusion stage as well. So you can use the data analytics in all the part of the audit. So what is the advantage of using data analytics? It enhances the overall quality of the audit and enable the auditor with first better understanding of the entity and their operation. How does data analytics help an auditor to better understand the entity and their operation. Can anyone would like to share why part? Why and how? Yeah, Gurmeha, Sanchit, Nimisha, Kush. How data analytics help an auditor in better understanding of the entity and their operations? Come on. Are you guys here?
So
Yes, sir.
I guess
Yes,
data
sir.
analytics is more detailed, and so on the basis of using those, advanced techniques. For example, we used to perform that RR program, revenue receival program, using data analytics. So if we go by substantive testing, we'll have a limited, scope to understand the entire process. But if you perform a data analytics on similar accounts using data analytics, then you'll have a complete understanding how your account is moving. Maybe you check the month-on-month trend easily, or you can prepare correlation and all that stuff. So data analytics is, I would say, a supportive tool to substantive testing to understand the account better.
Yeah, Coach Sanchit Gurme, do you have any client like data analytics work if you might have done in any of your engagement?
I used to have, but I also moved to consulting like Kush.
Yeah, no worries. Like if you get a chance, like just check out, like if you can have one sample, maybe in next class we can just show everyone like how it is looks like and feel like, so that everyone can embrace what is the impact of data analytics on actual audit, right? So yeah, like couple of things you said is right, but like overall perspective, if I give you in a data analytics, when you are using data analytics, you extract the entire population, entire journal entries, right, entire accounting entries of the system and put into the data analytics tool. So that means you will be covering the 100% population. So right, when you are covering the 100% population by using the data analytics, you will gain a better, you can say, visibility of how things are going from one place to another place, in one section to another section, right? And then it allow you to do not only the variance analysis, like in traditionally we were doing variance analysis at the planning stage, right? Whereas if you are using data analytics, you can use disaggregated analysis, relationship analysis, correlation analysis, ratio analysis, and multiple type of like month-on-month analysis, trend analysis, historical analysis. Because like data analytics tools, let's say for example, this is year one. So in year one, you'll be adding current year data and previous year data. But when you come to the next year, so you'll be having a historical data as well in the same tool. So like historical data along with the current year data, you can see the trend period over period also, right? That will help you, enable you to better understand the entity and their operations. Make sense? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ashish?
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it.
Second is enhance the risk assessment process and better identify the risk in the area that may have not otherwise gone, undiscovered. So as you can visualize, as you can see, the entire population, 100% population, each and every transaction and each and every account, right? So there is a possibility that some risk which was undetected earlier, but now you have a better visibility, you can detect that risk, right? And plan your additional audit procedure to mitigate those risks, right? Make sense? Third is provide audit coverage to the entire population through analytical procedure and selecting the sample on risk base rather than based on value or randomly. So earlier, if you see in test of control and test of detail, we have discussed like a lot of sampling technique through which we are selecting the sample, right? But when you are using data analytics, you can select the sample based on the risk. And this is allowable as per the audit methodology. So for example, normally, let's say you have 100,000 transactions for the sales, right? And as per your normal traditional way, you are supposed to test, let's say 100 transactions out of those 100,000, right? Whatever is your audit methodology of your respective CPA firm, or whatever the formulation and calculation, you are supposed to do, let's say 100 sample out of those 100,000 sample. Now, when you are using data analytics, so you can analyze all those 100,000 transactions, and from there, wherever you found the risk, you can select those transactions only, and you can reduce your sample size by selecting only those transactions where you have identified the risk, where you feel the risk is there, right? For example, you are doing month-on-month sales analysis, and in 1 month you see the spike in sales, right? Then you further drill down for that particular month, you get to know on last day of the month there was some 3 or 4 sales transaction has happened, which is a major transaction and which is unusual or abnormal, right? Maybe transaction with the related party, right? So rather than selecting the randomly 100 samples, you will select those samples where you feel the risk is high. Which approach is more better for an auditor, risk-based or a random-based?
Risk-based, sir.
Right?
Risk-based.
Right? Because in risk-based, you get to know where exactly the problem is, and you will be working on those problematic area only. Right? Makes sense? Fourth is evaluation of the big data and relationship among the data, provide variable insight for both internal and external to the firm. So when you are evaluating the big data, you are doing a correlation analysis, you will be doing a relationship analysis, you will be doing a ratio analysis, right? That will give you more insight from one account to another account. Like yesterday, when we discussed from sales to account receivable to cash, right? From sales to cash, you can see how things are moving, which otherwise, if you are not using data analytics, it is very difficult. It is very difficult, to be very honest with you, right? So it enhances the efficiency in applying the audit procedure, enhance the fraud risk assessment as well. Because, like for example, when you have 100% visibility on the data, and any data you found unusual manual journal entry, unusual, you can say adjustment journal entry, right? Unusual transaction where you see management overriding of control impact, right? So there might be a risk of fraud, right? So those transactions you can easily identify because you have visibility on them, right? So it enhances in overall better assessment of the fraud risk and detection of the fraud risk procedure as well. Lastly, data visualization and other report enhance the overall communication and application of auditor professional judgment, right? So these are the advantage of using data analytics. One is like better understanding. Second is enhanced risk assessment. Third is provide entire population coverage. Fourth is sample are on risk based. Fifth is relationship analysis. Sixth is enhancing efficiency. Seventh is better risk assessment for the fraud. And last one is enhance the overall communication, right? These are the 8 key advantages. There are many more, but you can say these are key advantage of using data analytics, right? Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So far we understood what is data analytics, right? What are the tools and techniques relating to data analytics, usage of data analytics, and advantage of data analytics, right? Now we are jumping into the application of data analytics. So this is a 5-step approach in application of data analytics. When you need to apply data analytics in your audit engagement, so you need to follow this 5-step approach. First one is determining the objective and purpose of using data analytics. So it includes which financial statement line item of the entity are being tested. Step include assessment of what data need to be, what data is needed, the most appropriate ADA techniques to employ, and which tool and output is used in the assessment. So first and foremost thing, to perform any work in your life, you must have a clear objective, right? Same is the case of application of data analytics. Why you want to apply the data analytics. So that should be very much crystal clear why you want to use data analytics, and then on which data you want to use the data analytics, right? And which tool you want to use, whether you want to use Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, iAuditor, or which tool exactly you want to use, right? So maybe like now couple of the, you can say, big consulting firm, they have standardized the tool, but earlier days for the data analytics, so they were using like different tools. Like for the sales and receivable process, they have a different tools for the data analytics, right? For journal entry reviews, they have separate tool for the data analytics. But now slowly and gradually they are reaching to a centralized pool where one tool can help in doing all kind of analysis. But earlier days they were using independent tools for some sales analysis, purchases analysis, inventory analysis, payroll analysis, journal entry analysis. They were using different tools. Same way in the market also, like a lot of mid-size and small CPA firm, they are as of now using like different tools as well. So here you need to identify the objective and identify which what all transaction you need to use for the data analytics purpose, and then which tool you want to use for it, right? First step is that. Second is assess and obtain the data. That means now you have identified which data need to be used and which tool need to be used. Next step is access and obtaining of data. That means extraction of the data, right? If you are planning to use the data analytics on the journal entry, so you need to extract the journal entry from the client information system, right? Third is review and analyze the relevance and reliability of the source data. So that means once you have extracted the data from system, so you need to review that data to ensure the reliability on that data. So how do you do review of that data? You will try to reconcile that data from the IT system or information system. You can try to reconcile the end result or conclusion of the data, or you can say mathematical accuracy or sequential accuracy of the data with the information system to ensure the data is complete and accurate. Make sense? Third step. What is first step? Identification of objective, identification of data, and identification of tool, right? Second is extraction of data, and third is review of data to ensure completeness and accuracy and reliability of that data, right? Now perform the data analytics. Once you ensure the data is complete and accurate, you put into the data analytics tool, and then you perform the data analysis, right? You need to select the tools and techniques, like which data you want to see in a pie chart, which data you want to see in a bar chart, which data you want to use in a map format, right? So different kind of data analytics you will be performing on the respective data, in which way you want to analyze the data, right? And last step is to evaluate the outcome of the data analytics you have performed. That means wherever you found any unusual transaction, wherever you found any unusual trend, right, you need to identify those areas and start performing additional audit procedure for those areas, right? So this is the 5-step approach for the application of data analytics. Make sense? Yeah, Kashish.
Yes, sir. Yes, got it.
Gurmehar, Avneet.
Yeah,
Kamal,
all good.
Yeah,
Kamal,
Nimisha.
एक question है. So with these benefits and steps of data analytics, I'm just thinking MCQs is one part of the story, but can we get direct questions in simulations asking what are the 5-step approach for data analytics or something like that in simulations?
Yeah, so maybe they will give you some data analytics and ask you to interpret it.
Matlab, they will not ask direct questions that what are the benefits or what are the steps. Those kind of direct questions are not coming.
Those can come in multiple choice question, I feel so.
Okay.
Those can come in multiple choice question, but if you are talking about task-based simulation, in task-based simulation, they may give you the data, and then they will give you the options to select the right option,
Outcome.
which
Okay.
give the analysis, your analysis on those data analytics.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Very good question, Amisha. Cool. Next is category of data analysis. Right, really quick, 5-step. First is identification of the objective, data, and tool. Right. Second is extraction of the data. Third is like extraction of data and cleaning up and validation of the data. And then third is reviewing the data to ensure the completeness and accuracy. Fourth is putting the data in data analytics tools and perform the data analytics. And fifth is evaluating the outcome of data analytics tools and identify all the abnormalities and plan additional audit procedures. Right. So these are 5 things you need to do, 5 steps to data analytics.